What's going on, Save Saturdays fans? It's Ethan Petrick back with another episode of the Save Saturdays podcast. Joining me in the studio is Will Reason and Big Bets Bents.
How we doing?
Always. How we doing, boys?
Wonderful.
I'm tired. It's been a big day.
If you guys have listened to any of our recently posted podcasts, Will is fresh off of recording his first episode of Boston Bias. That's why he's a little short of breath. You know, he's spent 35 minutes talking, going crazy.
Well, you know what? When you're a fan of Boston sports, there's a lot of winning to talk about and a lot of good stuff to talk about because, you know, we do a lot of winning because winning is what we do.
Speaking of talking about good stuff, question of the week this week.
Let's hear it.
What is your favorite wing sauce? So wing sauce of choice. I don't care what restaurant you're at. If you have, if particularly better at one over the other, maybe you're a Wingstop guy. I'm not judging. We don't have one here in Lincoln.
Disgusting.
But, you know,
Yeah.
we'll start off with Big Bets Bents.
All right. Love to hear it. All right. So B-dubs, right? Buffalo Wild Wings.
I think
Love
that's what
it.
we're all talking
Yeah,
about.
I'm
B-dubs.
going to go
It's-
B-dubs.
Oh, okay.
I'm going
all
B-dubs as well.
Okay.
Perfect. All right. Sounds good. Caribbean jerk.
Whoa.
Yep.
Is
Hot and
that
spicy.
new?
No. They've had it for years.
I've never even heard of that.
I've heard of it. I just never tasted it.
Yeah. Very good. Very
Interesting.
good. Yeah. It's got the right amount of spice.
What's it like what's
Well-
it taste like?
well, it
Caribbean.
tastes-
it makes
right.
me think it's like
Yeah. It tastes
pineapple-y,
like
like some
no,
tropical
no.
kind of wing sauce.
Tropical. Yeah. It's
Is it
like a
hot?
spicy tropical. It's hot. It's
I like hot. So
Yeah.
I feel like I'd get on that.
It tastes like you're eating wings right off the Caribbean cruise, you know?
I like Caribbean cruises.
I feel like because it's Caribbean, they should like make that one out of pork instead of chicken. Will? I already know your answer.
Yeah, I mean, I've been eating the same wing sauce for ever, and it's Asian Zing. It's a good like
That's
peppery kind of like gives you that heat, but gives you that kind of that curry kind of Asian like food kind of thing going,
What does
and I love that
Steph Curry have to do with wing sauce?
because he's hot,
Ooh.
like the sauce. So I'm a big Asian Zing guy. That's my answer.
Big Asian zing guy. Well,
Zing.
I am a classic Buffalo guy. Mild edition. I can't go much hotter than medium. Will and
Weak.
Ryan both are well aware of my inability to handle hot food.
True. But and real quick, while we're talking about hot food, Ethan, what did we do the other night?
Well, that's what I was talking
You
about.
want to explain that?
That's what I was talking. So we're at Hy-Vee. I don't know where they all have Hy-Vees, but a lot of them here in Nebraska. We're at Hy-Vee, and there's this brand of chip that I like. It's called Paqui. They're made in Texas. It's a great tortilla chip. They have a number of flavors, and they tell you how hot they are. You know, not like mild, kind of hot, super hot. I've had the super hot ones before, and I ate too many. I got a little hot. My face was beet red. I needed to drink a little bit of water, but I wasn't dying. Well, I saw a new flavor of Paqui when we were at Hy-Vee, and it was called the One Chip Challenge. There's a skull on the box. You only get one of them. It's shaped like a coffin.
We're looking at the box right now. It just looks horrible.
Red and black.
Yep, and it's a combination of Carolina Reaper and Sichuan Heat.
Squan.
If we're saying that right, I hope we're saying that right.
Probably
But
not.
it says inside one extremely hot tortilla chip. Well, it took Will and I about a single minute, so we didn't even make it. I think we were just like, they have like a little scale on there. I think we were wimps or something like that. But did not go very well. I spit milk everywhere.
To anyone, they said like an hour is like, or like 5 minutes was a good time. I want to see someone eat that in the last 5 minutes without drinking anything because they're not human. Like
Challenge
at the
accepted.
5 minute, you want to try it? Do you want to try it? Because I'd love to see it.
Hard pass.
At the 5 minute mark, I had already chugged a crap ton of Diet Coke and water, and I was in my bathroom trying to throw up because I was in so much pain. It was the worst thing I've ever experienced in my life. Never want to do it again.
I was lapping water up from a running faucet like I was a cat, and I just found a drippy fountain or something like that. Like, it was probably one of the worst experiences I've ever voluntarily done.
I also just want to say if childbirth is worse than that, I just quick apology to all women and everywhere
Absolutely.
because like why y'all do that? Like, why do you want to do that 5 times?
I don't think they do want to do that five
Five
times.
times.
I wouldn't. Like, that's terrible.
Well, I would never do the chip challenge again. I know Will would never do the chip challenge again. If there's anybody out there who would,
Send us a video of you doing it.
please send us a
Yeah.
video of you doing it and like laughing at us, because I was laughing out of sheer pain. Like I was coping with
You weren't laughing. You were spitting milk everywhere.
before I spit milk everywhere. I was laughing to just like try and take my mind off the pain. We had this whole video set up for you guys. We were gonna like ask each other questions while we were suffering, and if you got a question right, you could do something to get rid of the heat. And
We lasted one question.
I asked Will a question and he couldn't even think of something. His mouth hurt so bad. So, do not recommend the one chip challenge unless you are like
A daredevil.
straight out of Texas and you eat jalapenos as cereal or something. Moving on, let's shift to the NFL. And
What's
a
up?
number,
Tennessee Titans.
a number of things happened this week. Notably, the Tennessee Titans Steelers game just didn't happen at all, and it seems to be purely the Titans' fault. They're incapable of following COVID procedures.
Right. CDC guidelines.
Yeah, they don't wear their they're not enforcing the mask mandate on the sidelines. They had
They're all within 6 feet of each other.
well, I don't think that's required by the NFL, but they're not wearing their masks on the sidelines, and then one player gets sick, and then they have a workout once they're supposed to be like quarantining away from each other. They have a workout and they have more positives.
Right. And one was just added today.
We're up to 23 now, I think.
24.
24.
Yeah.
Tennessee, man.
If you're a Tennessee Titans fan, I can understand if you're delusional like a Patriots fan. Your team didn't follow the rules and now they're going to get punished by the NFL. Boston doesn't seem to understand that concept. Tennessee, I hope you do, because all your team had to do is follow the rules. All your team had to do is not have a practice, and it would have just been postponed. Now they're going to have to forfeit their game against the Steelers, possibly have to forfeit their game against the Bills this week.
Let's hope not.
That was a team that had
And possible just outside. They talked about fines, possibly taking away draft picks. Kind of a big deal. I didn't realize they'd go that far, but
Draft
I mean, if
picks
Goodell, I mean, we saw he'll take anyone's draft picks away for literally anything. So, I mean, why not ruin the Tennessee Titans franchise because of some face masks? You know, why not? I don't want to say more because I feel like I'm at risk of making this political podcast at that point. So
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, don't get us wrong. We're not like Corona bros or anything, but it's just like, I don't know. It's different for an NFL team. You had a lot of momentum. You're undefeated. You're coming off a pretty significant playoff run, and all you have to do is just adhere by some
guidelines.
just
Simple
some guidelines, and you can't do it. And now you're gonna drop to 3-2, and you're not gonna be able to practice for 2 weeks.
That's right.
I would be furious if I was
Livid.
If I was the Titans owner and this was done against my wishes, and I would be livid again if I was a Titans fan.
Right. Or a Derrick Henry fantasy owner.
That's also true. I tend to not really like, I don't know. If you're a fantasy owner and you get irritated because something's not going right in your fantasy, you're just a special kind of person. Like, I don't know. Strikes me as the kind of guy who would tweet at a player because he didn't perform in fantasy.
All right. Yeah, I would never do that. That's
Good.
over the line.
Good.
They're just doing their best out there. That's all.
Shifting to significantly more positive. No, my Green Bay Packers winning the Super Bowl this year, confirmed. We are easily the team to beat in the NFL. I don't know if you guys are watching every Sunday. Better roster than the Seahawks. Better team than the Chiefs. You know, the Chiefs almost lost to a freaking anemic Patriots team. Starting Brian Hoyer. Cam Newton's on that Patriots squad last week. Patriots win.
they're winning
easy.
that game.
Yeah. So obviously my Packers are winning the Super Bowl this year.
They're the
Place your
team to
bets
beat.
right now.
That's right.
What do you guys say? What do you guys think of that?
I agree. They've been looking like the team to beat. Aaron Rodgers has been just on fire at the start of the season. Along with Aaron Jones as running back. I mean, he's been strong. Jamal Williams has been strong.
Do you own both of them or just Aaron Jones?
Just Aaron Jones.
The Packers have been pretty good. They have the best offense in the league. Their defense, unlike the Cowboys, is pretty good. LaFleur is pretty good.
Good coach.
Aaron Rodgers is pretty good. But you're full of crap, Ethan. And you want to know why? Because the Seattle Seahawks and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to wipe the floor with the Green Bay Packers. Why? Because Russell Wilson's better than Aaron Rodgers. Because Tom Brady's better than Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers, as we've seen in the past, he's great. But come playoff time, the dude crumbles. He crumbles in the spotlight.
Crumble.
He crumbles.
He doesn't crumble.
One Super Bowl win. Russell Wilson's been to more than Aaron Rodgers.
I didn't realize Aaron Rodgers was playing defense because I've seen multiple times where his team has collapsed in the NFC Championship game on the defensive side of the ball. Last year against the 49ers.
Did you watch that
Last
game?
year against
Aaron
the 49ers.
Rodgers played very poor in that NFC Championship game. You can say what you want about the defense.
Why are you picking a fight with me right now?
Aaron Rodgers played very poorly in that game. Aaron Rodgers is great. He usually puts up an MVP-like season, but my gosh, when he gets to the postseason, the dude just... Who does he look like? He look like Lamar Jackson is what he looks like.
You're vomiting all over the mic right now because last year,
what you
NFC
just
Championship
said.
game,
I'm vomiting because of what you just said.
49ers run the ball all over the Packers defense. That's not Aaron Rodgers' fault. Roll it back to the Atlanta Falcons.
What are you saying?
NFC
Aaron Rodgers played
Championship
great
game.
in that game?
Roll it back to the Falcons NFC Championship game. It's not our fault that Ladarius Gunter is who our defensive coordinator chooses to put on freaking Julio Jones, the best receiver in the league at the time. That guy got fired after that game. And then roll it back to the first Seahawks NFC Championship game. We were leading that game 18-0. This one, you can maybe put 10%. You can put about 10% of this on Aaron Rodgers because the offense fell apart. But 90% of that game is on freaking Brandon Bostic. All he has to do is not leap into the air to recover an onside kick, which he ends up fumbling because he tries to play hero ball. If he doesn't do that, we win that game because Seahawks don't even get a chance to tie up the game and send it to overtime. So you're saying Aaron Rodgers only won one Super Bowl? I'm saying he was robbed of going to 3 more.
Ooh. So what I just heard there was that the last time the Seahawks and Packers met in the playoffs, Russell Wilson won. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen this year. I think Russell Wilson's a better quarterback all around.
The last time they
Aaron
met,
Rodgers
last
is
time
special.
they met in the playoffs was last season, and Aaron Rodgers freaking shredded them. He made some moves at the line of scrimmage. He outgained the Seahawks defense, and Packers walked home with the victory. So I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
Congratulations to Aaron Rodgers, but it's not happening again this year.
We're all pretty heated up right now. I mean, I'm not. I'm chilling. I'm doing all right.
Well, when Will comes in and says something stupid like that,
I mean, the Seahawks are clearly better. The Seahawks are clearly better than the Packers.
So what I
have you watched that defense?
Russell Wilson. It's going to come. Okay.
Let Ryan talk. Let Ryan talk. Let Ryan talk.
Thank you very much. All right. So this season, 2020, basically we've seen anything can happen. It's a new year, different year. And right now, we're seeing the Seahawks undefeated so far, Packers undefeated so far. All I'm going to say is that anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
There. Nothing. I mean, we can say one thing about the other, but I think the joy of the sport is what we're doing right now. All right,
screaming at each other is the joy of the sport.
I think if it comes down to Packers Seahawks in the NFC Championship game, despite the defense, Aaron Jones, coaching doesn't matter. It all goes out the window. The difference in that game is gonna be Russell Wilson versus Aaron Rodgers. Who shows up in that game? That will win the game.
Aaron Rodgers looks like a freaking MVP candidate right now.
Here we
he
go,
looks like one, but you know who is the MVP right now? Russell Wilson.
Which I predicted.
Which you predicted. You didn't even predict your own quarterback to win the MVP, and now you're sitting here saying the Packers are gonna win the Super Bowl.
It was
you hate Matt LaFleur. You hated Matt LaFleur a year ago.
I still am not a fan of Matt LaFleur. I don't think that he is as big a deal as everyone likes to treat him. They think he's the next coming of, just pick random innovative offensive mind. And they think he's the next Andy Reid.
Well, compared to Mike McCarthy, I'd say he is Andy Reid.
Well, compared to Mike McCarthy, yeah, because Mike McCarthy is like Vince Lombardi and antiquated out there.
I'm just saying. I mean, who they played? Who the Packers played? The Vikings, trash. Falcons, garbage.
Saints.
The Saints. I mean, yeah, you want to. They're pretty bad too right now, apparently.
Yeah,
but
the Packers haven't played a lot of exceptional teams, but they've also put up over 30 points in every single game.
They have looked great. Don't get me wrong. But as a guy that didn't even believe in his own head coach, a guy who loves Jordan Love, you were talking all about Jordan Love. You had no faith in Aaron Rodgers this offseason. And now 4 games in, when they've beat a bunch of lowly teams, trash, I might add. Now all of a sudden we're winning the Super Bowl, and you even predicted it, Russell Wilson to win the MVP. I
predicted the Packers to win the Super Bowl and Russell Wilson to win MVP. So this is all tracking with what I said before the season started.
But you clearly had more faith in Russell Wilson than Aaron Rodgers
to be a better individual player.
And I think that their individual abilities will win their team the championship. I think Russell Wilson will play better than Aaron Rodgers when it comes to playoff time. And he has proven this down before. Russell Wilson's winning it.
All right, I think
that's all I have to say.
Screw the other 21 players that are on the field. I guess
Tom Brady doesn't need them, so why does Russell Wilson?
What's next, Ethan? What else we got?
Another bold point is that Russell Wilson was going to win MVP,
and
we already covered that.
I mean, we didn't even talk about the AFC. I think the Chiefs and the Ravens could beat the Packers.
Calm down there, pal.
So we're done. Yeah, we're done.
We're talking about what teams disappointed us or players disappointed us. I'm going to just jump right on that and say that the probable biggest disappointment in the league has probably been Will's Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, they're not actually. Yeah, totally. I second you there.
They're actually more Ryan's Cowboys because Ryan's actually a Cowboys fan.
Right. Absolutely.
But Will picked them.
I picked them to win the Super Bowl, and I picked Dak to win MVP. And the Dak thing, I'm still kind of on because he's still leading the league in passing yards.
Exactly.
But I mean, the Cowboys' defense is just.
But you got to win.
It's horrible. You just got to win.
Yeah.
It's disgusting how bad that defense is.
Another point for disappointing players and teams. I'm gonna have to go beyond players and teams and say officiating and Mr. Roger Goodell. I mean,
I love that take right there.
Yeah.
Why'd you do that? You've unleashed the beast.
He just took like a kindled fire and he just poured a bunch of gasoline on it. That fire's me.
I mean, I think a lot of these games have just been both teams versus officiating, the refs, right? I mean,
I totally agree. And to bring up an example, I think we can all point to the Patriots-Chiefs game.
Let's talk about
the worst
that.
call of all time. That's it. I'm done. I'm not going to talk about it more.
So that's one example.
All right, thank you for being civil
thank you so
about
much,
it.
Ryan. That was a great point.
Absolutely.
And I would
Couldn't agree more.
say finally, I have been a little disappointed in the receiving weapons for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And it's not really their fault. They've been injured, but I think we are coming in, we're like, they finally have a good quarterback who's not going to be throwing it to the other team 3 times a game. And now none of them can stay on the field. OJ Howard out for season. Chris Godwin struggling with injury. Mike Evans struggling with injury. Scotty Miller's got their third best receiver is struggling with injury. Who would have thought that their most consistent receiving option would have been Gronk, who had 4 targets through 3 weeks?
I think when you mentioned Scotty Miller, that kind of summarizes it all. The fact that he has all those weapons, but yet Scotty Miller is the guy he wants to throw to. I think that just sums it all up right there.
Right.
Well, it's not even Scotty Miller anymore. It's Watson now. I don't even know Watson's first name. I just know his name's Watson, and he's getting all the targets now. He probably put up about 40 fantasy points because it seemed like every time Tom Brady threw the ball, it was to Watson.
Well, I mean, the way Tom Brady plays into that because I mean he just came out of New England where they're running a lot of slot routes, a lot of short guy, a lot of quick guys that get open.
That's why Edelman
short pass. That's why Edelman, why Amendola, like Wes Welker. I mean Miller kind of fits that, and he's never outside of Randy Moss. He's never had a Mike Evans guy that can beat you deep, and he's starting to prove it. I mean he has like 5 passes of over like 30-40 yards completed, which is more than I think he had 5 all of last season. So I mean that plays into it. I think it comes down to just chemistry, how long they've been playing together. I think eventually they'll figure it out.
And then finally just to kick them again. Really disappointed in the Titans. That's a team I like cheering for, and I want to see them on the field, and so they need to get out of their own way.
Titans went from the team that like America loved because they sucked and they were finally good, and now everyone just kind of hates them.
Well, like no one Tennessee
kind of became the Houston Astros.
Tennessee is no one's rival in the NFL. Like that division is the least developed division. The Titans are one of the newest teams. Texans are one of the newest teams. The Colts probably see the Patriots as a bigger rival. I can almost guarantee it, considering the battles of
in the Manning Brady era.
Yeah,
right.
And who's the Jaguars? The Jaguars. Yeah, that's been a dumpster fire since they were conceived.
What about the Bengals?
Bengals aren't in that division.
That's right.
They're in the same conference, AFC, but those 4 teams are like, other than the Colts, like the least developed franchises in the league. So I think it's easy for those teams to be lovable because no one hates them yet. They haven't torn your heart out in the playoffs.
I think
yet.
outside of Indianapolis, I don't think any one of them has won a Super Bowl. I think Indianapolis they've only won one with Peyton, didn't they?
The Jaguars definitely haven't. The Texans haven't, and I don't think the Titans have either.
Yeah, so I mean,
so those
Titans
teams
got close in the early 2000s, though, didn't they?
I believe
didn't they have
so.
a season.
They had the one where like they reached the ball out and they lost to the Kurt Warner Rams, I believe.
Yeah, so they were close.
They were close, but still they lost that game. You know, you kind of feel bad for them, and they have this thing going. They're pounding the rock on Derrick Henry, quiet, humble star.
Well, and they've never had a consistent quarterback, have they?
They have not. Steve McNair's probably the best quarterback they've ever had.
Yeah.
They have a reclamation project in Ryan Tannehill. You got to love everything on that team, and
the team you can't hate. You love them.
And then they go just screw everything up. So heavily disappointed in the Titans.
Yeah.
Again, not a Corona bro. Just really like the Titans and disappointed not to see them on the field. And now possibly the biggest failure of the season. Let's talk big news out of Houston. Head coach and GM Bill O'Brien, former Belichick disciple, fired. First coach fired this season. Seems like it was really downhill in the last couple days.
I mean, starting the season off 0-4.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff coming out after the firing. A lot of players saying comments. J.J. Watt's been very vocal about how it's a lot better now without him around. So you mentioned he's a Belichick disciple. And I think he tried to do a lot of Belichick things, making those moves for draft picks and stuff. I just think he went a little too far and crazy with it.
I don't think he would have been fired had he not traded DeAndre Hopkins.
That was
Right.
The Clowney thing, yeah. I mean, all the other stuff, it's whatever. But yeah, the Hopkins one, he was kind of fired before he got fired. Like when he made that trade, everyone's like, okay, it's not a matter of if he'll get fired. Like when's it gonna happen?
Well, if he started the season 4-0 after that trade, there's no way they fire him. But you know, you can't trade away your probably the biggest star in franchise history. I think that's safe to say.
Yeah.
And or maybe JJ Watt, maybe.
Yeah.
Just because of what he's done in
top
Houston.
three. He's top three.
DeAndre Hopkins definitely one of the biggest faces of the Texans franchise all time, and you just trade him away for David Johnson. You know, he's a guy that I wasn't too hard on that trade originally. David Johnson just has not returned to the form he was in about 2016 when he led the NFL in scrimmage yardage.
Yeah.
And to get that as your biggest piece in the return for DeAndre Hopkins, it's tough to swallow for a Texans fan. And then not to mention, you trade away. You don't even have your first overall pick this year. They traded it to Miami.
I don't think they have a first or second this year.
They do not have a first or second this year. Trade them for Laramie Tunsil and not Devontae Parker, the other one, the other notable Dolphins wide receiver from last year.
Kenny Stills.
Yeah, Kenny Stills. So not even an exceptional return for either of those picks. Laramie Tunsil is probably one of the better tackles in the NFL, but when you're surrounded by 4 other offensive linemen
the other 4 suck.
who can't block a kindergartner, you can be the best tackle in the league. You're still gonna get your quarterback sacked 20 times a season at least.
And I think all that's right too. That all played a part into it. But then the part that just kind of stunned me, and I didn't realize this until I was watching SportsCenter, is the Houston Texans have the largest payroll this season, and they're 0-4. I just want to know who are they giving money to? Like who? Deshaun Watson's not even the most highest paid quarterback. J.J. Watt's not the highest paid defensive end or defensive player, and yet they have the highest payroll and they're 0-4. Like they paying the janitors $1 million a year. Like what?
Obviously not the refs.
That's just some horrible general managing from Bill O'Brien, and that's almost. I thought he was a good coach. He was a playoff coach before, always winning the division. Mm-hmm. But the move to make him GM, I think, is what did him in. That should never have happened. I think they tried to make him into a Bill Belichick, but Bill Belichick's Bill Belichick. You can't treat everyone like Bill Belichick. I think that was where they went wrong. No problem with him as a head coach.
Here's my thing with them having the highest payroll. I feel like if you're a coach, you're going to see a guy every day in practice. You're going to really fall in love with the little things he does right, even if overall he's not the best player at his position. Maybe you see this guy, he's your number 4 wide receiver on the depth chart. He's got exceptional footwork. You're going to be like, wow, he's got great footwork. And you're going to get there, and you're going to overvalue his contract. Your evaluation for him on the team is going to go higher than if you just let him hit the open market. He would probably command 75% of what you're about to pay him.
Exactly.
And so, like, I think you see it in fans all the time. Fans watch way too much. They read too much about their team, and they fall in love with, like, the 5th best receiver on the team. And they're like, oh, we need to bring him back. In Green Bay, Jake Kumaro, he graduated from a Division III school in Wisconsin, and everyone in Wisconsin loves him. Really not a very good player. He flashed in the preseason, could never crack the roster with any consistency, and he's just overvalued by the team. Like if any of our fans were our GM, he'd be on a $16 million a year contract right now. It's like the guy is not a good wide receiver. So I feel like that's what ended up happening to Bill O'Brien.
It's like exactly when they say like your coach shouldn't be your friend. You shouldn't befriend the players. You're a coach. You need to have discipline and you need to separate yourself a little bit. And I think Bill O'Brien didn't separate himself from it. It's just like all the Chiefs fans out there that just like love Dexter McCluster and think he's the greatest thing ever. And he sucks. Shot at the Chiefs fans there.
He was good on the Titans.
I mean, if you define good.
He was
because he's not on the Titans anymore.
He was serviceable on the Titans.
He's not on the Titans anymore, so quickly replaced, I'd say. Yeah, I totally agree.
Now, moving over to a topic you covered in Boston Bias, top 5 QBs in the league right now. You said Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen.
Josh Allen coming at number 3.
Then Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. And I got to say, I think a lot of people would have a problem with Aaron Rodgers over Patrick Mahomes right now. But you had Aaron Rodgers and Josh Allen.
Exactly. And I knew I'd get flack for this.
Well, I just want you to explain yourself.
I'm just going to explain the whole list.
Mahomes. You don't need to explain Russell because we understand that.
Well, Russell, obviously. Russell's pretty obvious. He's the best quarterback in the league right now. But when it comes to Aaron Rodgers and Josh Allen and Mahomes and Jackson, I know Jackson's all the way at 5 just because he can't win the big game right now. I'll put him up higher when he can win the big game. But just like Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, yeah, he's undefeated, and he has won a Super Bowl. But of all the 5 guys on that list, I think he has the best offensive weapons. He has the best offensive line. He has the best coach, I'd say right now. I think Andy Reid is clearly the best offensive mind of the 5 guys there. And yet when he plays the Patriots, he barely got over 200 yards passing. His only 2 passing touchdowns were jet sweeps in the red zone to Tyreek Hill. And every time he plays Bill Belichick hasn't figured out.
Bill Belichick's got every quarterback figured out.
But not Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson tears him up every time except for the one Super Bowl. Russell Wilson has had Bill Belichick's number every single time they played. Aaron Rodgers, I mean, right now I think he's just I put him above Patrick Mahomes simply because I think he has a better football mind. He's a little bit smarter than Patrick Mahomes. He's able to read plays a little bit better, read defenses better. And that's just a tribute to Mahomes' youth. And so I think Mahomes will get that over time. I'm not knocking at Mahomes by putting him at number 4. I just think when you compare him to Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers, he's just not at their level.
You are knocking Patrick Mahomes by putting Josh Allen ahead of him, though.
Oh, that part, yeah. I totally am. I was referencing Russell and Aaron Rodgers because they're veterans. Like you don't walk in the league and just be better than all the veterans. Like there's still a learning curve, no matter how talented you are. Because Mahomes is probably the most talented quarterback we've ever seen of all time. But that doesn't make you the GOAT. I mean, you still got to learn the game. But I mean, Josh Allen right now, that is a little disrespectful. But I mean, have you seen Josh Allen?
He's looked really good this year. But
you want to compare the Bills and Chiefs roster? You want to compare the head coaches? Sean McDermott's great, but he ain't no Andy Reid. But Josh Allen, 4-0. Josh Allen has better stats right now than Mahomes had in his MVP season, and he has better stats than Mahomes right now.
I feel like you're getting caught up in the moment. Patrick Mahomes has been a better quarterback.
Okay, I want to say this. When I made that list, and I mentioned it in the Boston Bias show, that list was made purely off of right now, 2020 season. I don't care about rings.
So it was more
I don't care about what they've done.
It was more like
last
an
season.
MVP power
It's almost like an MVP. Like if I were gonna pick who's the best quarterback of 2020 right now, I think Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, and Josh Allen have played better than Patrick Mahomes. And I think that's pretty fair to say.
And Lamar Jackson.
And Lamar Jackson, I think. So if you're going by their career so far, clearly Mahomes is better than Josh Allen.
Okay, thank you. I was concerned that that's not what you were saying.
Oh, no, I'm not saying that at all. And I think Mahomes will be better than Aaron Rodgers in his career at some point, and maybe Russell Wilson. We'll see if Russell Wilson can get a few more rings. I don't know. But at this very moment, after 4 weeks, I think Josh Allen has played better than Mahomes, and he's done it with less.
All right.
That is my reasoning.
I would say that is fair. I thought you were doing a career achievements list. Or
if I was doing career achievements, Tom Brady would be number 1. So, I mean, that's how you just
real quick, we're essentially out of time for this segment, but I want to do a fantasy update real quick. I traded Devin Singletary for Joe Burrow because I had a wealth of running backs in my one league, and now every single running back on my roster is hurt, and all of my pretty much all of my weapons are hurt. So I'm not doing very good. Took an L in all 3 leagues I'm in last week.
And you're going to take an L this
I'm taking
this
on
week,
Big
too.
Bets Benz in one of my leagues this week,
That's
and you already know I'm going to clap him.
Nope. You're going down.
I'm favored by 10 points, and we all know that those fantasy projections are always right.
Never, right?
All right, so Ryan,
Best
bets?
of luck.
I'll put a bob on the game right now.
Let's do it.
Done.
Tonight's game or fantasy
no,
week?
Fantasy.
All right. Done. 2, Bob.
2, Bob?
Nah, let's just do 1.
I was going to say, I did win 6 from you last week, so you got to
Let's
be
not
careful.
talk about that.
Just because I know NASCAR better. Go ahead, give us an update on your fantasy there, Ryan.
All right, so I've been struggling with my defense lately. So I've been kind of looking around for different defensive. I've had Chargers last week.
I would hold on to the Chargers.
No, I just don't like them. So I dropped them for the Giants. And then I saw Giants.
Whoa.
Yeah. Hold up. So I saw Giants played Cowboys this week. So I'm like, I can't do that. Dak Prescott and that Cowboys offense leading in the league. So I decided to pick up the Eagles. Right? They've been solid. They've had, I think, 2 double-digit points scored.
If that's your
Last 2
floor,
weeks.
you have a pretty low
They
standards.
are playing Pittsburgh this weekend, so Cox is going to get a couple sacks.
Also notable on the Eagles defense, linebacker number 47, Nathan Gary,
Nathan Gary, former Husker.
former Husker.
That's right.
Go Big Red, baby.
Go Big Red.
Still in the league.
GBR.
Also, I cannot remember his name. I think it's Singleton. He had a pick 6 last week against the 49ers.
Yes.
And just a quick shout out, he went to Montana State. He was a Bobcat. It's from my home state. That's where my
yeah.
parents went to college. So just a quick shout out to the Montana State Bobcats. Getting a little shout out from
Love it.
in the NFL. Will, how you doing in fantasy?
It's not great. I'm making a move right now. I'm dropping N'Keal Harry, adding Scotty Miller in one league. You know,
I like that move.
You know, Ethan, injuries have not been my friend so far. One league, I have Christian McCaffrey, Devontae Adams, and Austin Eckler. You know how that worked out, not well. And I'm 1-3 in that league. Other league, I'm at 2-2. So I got Chris Godwin and Eckler in that one, but we're still 2-2. I just won last week, so I got hope in that one. I think that's the one you're in. Is that the one? I think that's Ant-Man. So this is a different league.
Yeah.
This is a different league than one with big bets. So I don't know.
All right.
I got the injury bug's killing me right now. So we'll figure out a way.
So what I'm hearing is fantasy not going well for any of us.
I don't think fantasy's going well for anyone.
Hey,
in
I'm
America.
3-1.
All right,
Just
Ryan.
saying,
Ryan's
just
doing
saying.
awesome.
I'm doing great.
Mute his mic.
He's struggling on defense.
That's right. Defense. That's it. Other than that, solid.
Well, hopefully it's a better week for me and not a very good week for Ryan.
We don't want that.
But
All you listeners out there, go for the CD's dubs.
do not go for the CD's dubs. But do go ahead and stick around for our next segment. We'll be talking about MJ LeBron. That'll be exclusively Will and I. And then we'll bring on a guest for the third segment where we'll continue the debate. But make sure to stick around for that. Hey, Save Saturdays listeners, it's Ethan Petrick with a special announcement. Airing every Tuesday at 2 p.m., Takeout Tuesday is a show all about food. Join in as Will and I try different restaurants, finding out which restaurants are superstars and which are undraftable. We don't hold back as we tell you what's good and what isn't. Make sure to subscribe to Save Saturdays on YouTube so you don't miss a single episode. And as always, Save Saturdays. And we are back for segment number 2. We're doing a little bit better about sticking to that time frame this week.
Yeah, but we're about to talk about LeBron and MJ, so we're about to not stick to that.
We have 10 minutes before we're bringing on our guests. I'm going to let them know right now that we're going to bring them on in 10 minutes.
Real quick, I just want to say, Ethan's over there. He's got the soundboard he's got the iPad controlling the music, and he's got that hip hop music going. And the dude's just DJing out. He's grooving, sliding up and down the knobs, doing all this stuff, and I don't really know how to work any of it, so it kind of looks like a foreign language. So he's just vibing right now.
And that is why I am the executive producer on all 4 Save Saturdays podcasts, actually 5 podcasts.
And editor.
Yeah, I also edit them. That's also a producer task, though. But yeah, the soundboard a lot easier than you guys think it is. You just gotta get acquainted with it.
I was just trying to hype you up there.
I appreciate it, but I'm telling you,
I wanted to hype you up and before I just absolutely trash you in this next LeBron MJ debate.
Well, we all know it's LeBron, so I don't know why you're going to argue with me that it's not LeBron. You literally think that he's the most talented player. You've told me that. You said it last week. He's the most talented player to ever live. So how is he not the greatest basketball player of all time? Talent equals greatness. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Clearly, next episode, when I bring on Mason, I'm going to talk about the Boston Celtics, or whenever I'm going to talk about...
Next episode of Boston Bias.
Boston Bias. I'm going to have to talk about this so I can get my stance out, because usually whenever we have this debate, Ethan starts talking over me, like the presidential debate, and I cannot get a word out and explain my case. Like last week, you saw that. But in reference to what you just said, I think you're wrong. I'm going to push back on you there. I'm going to use your own saying there.
Whoa.
Because talent does not equal greatness. I think there's a lot of people that have a lot of talent, but they just aren't great. And a few examples. Aaron Rodgers. I think, despite Patrick Mahomes right now, because he's young, I think it's fair to say Aaron Rodgers is the most talented quarterback we've seen in NFL history. But he's only won 1 Super Bowl. He's just not great. When I think of great, I think of a guy that can win. He's great in all areas. And I think Tom Brady is great. I think Tom Brady's the GOAT. I think Aaron Rodgers is a hell of a lot more talented than Tom Brady. But I think in debate of just pure greatness, what they bring to the game, if they can lift up other players, they make their roster better week to week, they can do anything with anyone. I think that all comes into greatness. How they affect the game. I think Tom Brady and Bill Belichick have affected the way the NFL is played. I don't think Aaron Rodgers has done the same thing. Just like I think MJ changed the game in the NBA. He brought it worldwide. I think before that it was not a worldwide sport. He kind of was like the sole marketer of the NBA in the 90s. And I think MJ, he has the stats. He's 6-0. Which is probably the greatest indicator of greatness, is going 6-0 in the finals. I think that's just like unheard of. I don't know if anyone's ever going to do that in any sport ever again. LeBron James is the most talented player I've ever seen. He's got the body. He's got the build. He's freaking huge. He's fast. He, as of late in his career, developed a 3-point shot. He can pretty much do everything. But he's 3-6 in finals. Not only is he 3-6, and even, you know what? They're up 3-1. I'll even say he wins this, and I'll even make him 4-6. I'll give him that. I still don't think he's greater than Michael Jordan. I think he's more talented than Michael Jordan. I think he's number 2 behind Michael Jordan of all time. I think he's an incredible basketball player. I think he's the best basketball player we've seen in 20 years since Michael Jordan. But he's 3-6 in finals. He couldn't win a ring until he had to match up with a top 3 shooting guard of all time in Dwayne Wade. Match up with an all-star with Chris Bosh. And then he went to Cleveland and won one. That was impressive. But he had to do it with Kyrie Irving, an all-star. And that was great. Kyrie scored 41 points, was very key to that. And I want to mention, Kevin Love, not what he used to be, but Kevin Love, former all-star, had to also pair up with him. And finally, LeBron goes to L.A., pairing up with Anthony Davis, another all-star, probably going to go down as one of the better power forwards of all time. So, yeah, I don't think Michael Jordan ever had to do that. And you can sit here and say,
I think it's really cute how you little MJ cronies, every time this debate comes up, bring up the 6-0 in finals and the pieces LeBron has had around him. Because starting off with the 6-0, can we talk about the first 3 years where he got swept in the first round by the Bucks and the Celtics twice? Because that's not great, getting swept. And then what changed that fourth year? Is it because he got an all-time great small forward or shooting guard in Scottie Pippen and had him for the rest of his career? If LeBron James had come into the league and gotten Scottie Pippen in Cleveland, he wouldn't have left Cleveland. He'd still be in Cleveland. Michael Jordan got to spend his
He'd still be 3-6. He'd still be 3-6.
His entire impressive career with Scottie Pippen. Add in Dennis Rodman for a couple of those years, who not an all-time great player, but an all-time great defensive player and all-time great rebounder. You didn't need to score points when you have Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan. All Dennis Rodman needed to do was rebound, and that's Phil Jackson said as much, and you got that impression while watching The Last Dance. All they wanted Rodman to do was get under their opponent's skin and rebound. So, yeah, LeBron James had some great pieces in his career, but Michael Jordan had consistently solid pieces.
He did.
You look at LeBron James. He takes a box of rocks in his first Cleveland team to the finals. This wouldn't even be a debate if he'd won that finals.
Well, if he was 6-3, then I agree. Yeah, but he's not. So that's not an argument.
But I'll give you that he went to Miami, and there's no denying he went to Miami because
he fled to go win a title.
His friend and great player Dwayne Wade was there.
Top 3 shooting guard of all time.
Yeah, behind Scottie Pippen.
Shooting guard?
Well,
anyway, continue.
He and Michael Jordan, basically the same position.
Continue.
Dwayne Wade, he goes there. There's no denying that they were talented players, but I think there's a lot of parallels between LeBron James, Michael Jordan, LeBron in Miami, Michael Jordan in Chicago, Scottie Pippen, and Dwayne Wade. And Chris Bosh, he was past his prime. He was not peak Chris Bosh. He was
still an all-star. He still made an all-star game with his time in Miami.
So did Dennis Rodman.
And Kevin Love, all-star.
Kevin Love was hurt the first finals in Cleveland, and he was also well past his prime for the second finals run. He was a non-factor. Kyrie was the only person you can claim on that Cleveland roster that was truly a star beside LeBron James.
Okay, Kevin
and he
Love
was going up
still
against
a good
the
player.
greatest team of all time, and
Kevin
he
Love
defeated them.
Was still a good player at the time, but I have some stuff to say. So you keep going.
And I would also like to point out that LeBron James is significantly better than Michael Jordan in every category. He's a better leader. He's got a better basketball mind. He takes better care of his body. He's more focused on the game. Michael Jordan is a better scorer. But LeBron James is better in nearly every other aspect of basketball. Ryan's doing a little passing motion. I felt that was a given. LeBron James, an exceptional passer, well known as an exceptional passer, passed too much when he came into the NBA. They wanted him to become more selfish because he was so much better than everyone else, and he would pass it. He'd defer too much, and they were worse when he would pass the ball to those freaking snails in Cleveland. So, I'm done.
Can I respond to all that?
Yeah, I'd just like to let you know that our guest is an MJ guy, so I'm just gonna get freaking roasted in the next segment too. But
I'm not trying to roast you. I'm trying to have a civil debate here, and I just have some response to that because I think everything what you just said is all true, despite a few things. The first thing I want to say is I think it's fair to say that by the time Anthony Davis is done with his career, he's going to be greater than Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman. I think a lot of NBA fans would agree with that one. And that's not even including the third best shooting guard of all time in Dwayne Wade.
He didn't have all these players at the same time.
No, he didn't. He had to go pair up with him. He ran to him. Michael Jordan brought those guys in because he was so great. People wanted to play with him. He was like Tom Brady. He goes to Chicago. Tom Brady goes to Tampa. People come to Tampa. Michael Jordan comes to Chicago, gets drafted. All of a sudden, all these people were coming. He brought greatness in. LeBron had to go to the greatness. No one wanted to play in Cleveland with him. Who wanted to go play in Cleveland? No one did. He had to go to the greatest.
So you're telling me that Anthony Davis would be a Laker
flee.
right now if LeBron
Oh,
wasn't
okay,
a Laker?
that is the one exception. I'll
You
give you
telling me
that.
Chris Bosh would have
I'll
gone to
give you that.
Miami if LeBron hadn't
I'll
gone
give
to
you
Miami?
that. I'll give you that. But I'm saying Anthony Davis much better than what Michael Jordan had. So is I'd say Dwayne Wade.
Here's my thing though. Michael Jordan got to play with those same guys for the bulk for all those finals runs. So they were consistently.
Well, not Sky Pippen. I mean, not Sky Pippen. Dennis Rodman.
Well, he had Scotty. So his second start was consistent every finals run. LeBron James has done it with multiple teammates in multiple locations. So he's had to learn.
But he's always had the
to
consistent second starter.
By the second finals, Michael Jordan is going to know where Scottie Pippen is at all times on the court. They just know each other. They're fluid. They're going to work well together. LeBron James has had to go and learn how to play with all these different players who all play differently. LeBron James has been able to play with a different second star in multiple locations. Dwayne Wade, slasher score. Anthony Davis.
Okay, we all know who those guys play. We all know who they are. We know who they are.
Kyrie
you don't
Irving,
explain them. You don't need to explain
guard,
You don't need to explain who
shooting
Kyrie
three.
is. The point is, that's LeBron's fault for leaving. He
That's
could have
not
brought
LeBron's
people
fault.
to Cleveland. Just because Michael Jordan liked the city of Chicago, he liked playing for the Bulls. That's not his. He didn't have to prove anything by leaving and going anywhere. He didn't have anything to prove there. He liked Chicago. He stayed in Chicago. That's LeBron's fault for staying, for leaving. But second, a lot of what you said, I think, a lot of it's generational. You mentioned just what'd you say? There was a lot of stuff you said. The game was different back in the 90s than now. Now, one player can take a guy a lot farther, and I think that attributed to LeBron going to the finals with his trash squad. Back in those days, one player didn't get you to the finals, and I think that's got proved when they played the Boston Celtics in the first 3 years when he got swept in the first round. Boston Celtics were the greatest team in basketball at the time, one of the greatest teams of all time with that Larry Bird squad, and no player in NFL history could have beat that. I don't think LeBron would have won that first round out of that, and I think that's purely generational. I think a lot of the stats LeBron's put up, a lot more stat-driven league. Michael Jordan played more in a team defensive league. You didn't score as much points back in Jordan's era, and you played a lot more defense in the Jordan's era.
Well,
I think the defense is weak. Defense is weak now compared to when Jordan played.
You're certainly set in your ways. We'll see if I can change.
I'm not set in my ways.
We'll see if I can change our guest's mind. Right after this break, we will catch you guys with special guest NDSU student George Pasche. Right after this.
What's going on, Save Saturdays listeners? It's Will Reason here. Did you know that Save Saturdays isn't only a podcast? That's right. We're also on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Save Saturdays. Make sure to follow us for even more daily content, including fire sports memes and behind-the-scenes content from the Save Saturdays studio in Lincoln. Remember, that's at Save Saturdays on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And as always, Save Saturdays.
And we're back. We're coming at you with a little bit more MJ LeBron because we didn't get it out of our system during the last segment. But we're also bringing on special guest, NDSU student George Pasche. George, how you doing today?
Terrific.
Now, are you a MJ or a LeBron guy?
I'm very much in the Michael Jordan camp on this debate.
Well, how does that make you feel?
Makes me feel like there's another person that agrees.
Well, I think both of you guys are wrong, but I've already heard what Will thinks. So George,
Well, not really. You kind of cut me off, so I didn't even tell you everything because you always cut me off because you know I'm right. So
Well-
you try to silence me.
are you gonna let me be a good host? Let our guest talk a little bit.
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right, George, take it away. The floor is yours. Tell me why MJ is not better than LeBron.
What are you talking about? I'm arguing for MJ. All right. So, 6 seasons in his career, Michael Jordan was given the opportunity to play basketball at the highest level. He played for 15 years. 2 of those were his Wizards years. We can throw those out. One was when he was coming out of retirement. One was with a broken foot. We can throw those out. and the other 5 before Michael Jordan's historic 6 championship run with the Bulls. I mean, the Chicago Bulls were the Charlotte Hornets of the 1980s before Michael Jordan showed up. Michael Jordan impacted that team so profoundly and made them a dynasty. And every chance he got to perform at the highest level, he succeeded. 6 NBA Finals, 6 NBA Finals wins, 6 Finals MVPs. What more do you need to say? When this guy got to the top level, when he was given the chance to, he was a winner. And I think he's not only the most skilled, the best basketball player of all time, but the greatest, just in terms of his impact on the game and his impact on American culture and basketball in general.
Well, you say that he came in, and when he was given the chance at the top level, he made the difference for that Bulls team. And I'm looking at a Cavaliers team when LeBron came in the league. They had the number 1 pick for a reason. So why does that argument work for MJ but not LeBron?
Because LeBron has had quite a number of opportunities to perform at the highest level as well, and he hasn't optimized them in the same way as MJ did. I mean, he's 3-6 in the finals right now, probably soon to be 4-6, and he's made the NBA Finals 10 times. That's a great credit to his greatness. But personally, on my list, I've got 7 players ahead of LeBron James.
Whoa, okay. I didn't know about that. You're going to need to give me the full list of players ahead of LeBron.
Absolutely. Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Bill Russell, Hakeem Olajuwon, and Kobe Bryant.
Okay, I mean, you got me a little speechless here. I was not expecting that. I think if you look at LeBron James, I told this to Will last segment, you look at Michael Jordan's first couple years, swept in the first round all 3 of his first years. That doesn't.
He wasn't swept in the first round. In 1984, he actually did win a game against the Bucks. But Ethan, are you about to tell me that a sophomore Michael Jordan, a rookie Michael Jordan, was supposed to beat that legendary Bucks team, that a sophomore Michael Jordan was supposed to take on the 85 Celtics after coming back from a broken foot, that a third-year Michael Jordan was supposed to take on the 86 Celtics, who, by the way, only lost 1 game at home, regular season or postseason that year?
I am going to tell you that Michael Jordan should have beat those teams if he was really the greatest of all time. Because LeBron James, as I said earlier, took a box of rocks in that Cleveland Cavaliers team that he played on originally to the finals and nearly willed them to the finals. And I don't even think 90% of that roster would even make a G League roster at this point.
That's not precisely the same. LeBron had Mo Williams and a set of role players around him. Jordan had absolutely nothing.
Jordan's players were doing coke in the hotel rooms. We know that from the documentary.
I mean, are you really about to tell me that, a third-year Michael Jordan should have beaten that team who only lost 1 game at home, regular season or postseason, the greatest Celtics team that there's ever been, better than the 08 Celtics, better than Bill Russell's Celtics?
Yeah, I am, because if he's really that great, he would have defeated his team. And I'm looking at a guy in LeBron James.
I think that's ridiculous. I mean, you're looking at 4 all-star level players and, Robert Parrish, Kevin McHale, Larry Bird, and DJ. And Michael Jordan was the only – I mean, even look at his first 2 championship rosters. It's him, Pippen, and –
yeah, an all-time great small forward.
2 career all-star appearances. Well, LeBron has help too. He had the best center in the league and the second best shooting guard in the league on his team, and he only managed to win the championship 2 out of 4 times.
You're certainly not implying that Chris Bosh was a top-tier player
Anthony
when
Davis.
he was
He's talking
on
about Anthony Davis.
Miami, were you?
I absolutely am. No. I think Chris Bosh was on the decline, but he was absolutely a top-tier center when he joined the Heat.
I think in Chris Bosh, you're talking about a stat monster on a bad team, a la Devin Booker, and the moment he's surrounded by other stars, he just falls into the shadows. You didn't hear from him at all in Miami.
He made an all-star game.
Chris Bosh at all in Miami? Are you kidding me?
He made an all-star
I'm
game.
not
in Miami.
kidding you.
He made an all-star in Miami.
That was a career achievement all-star game.
He had made other all-star games before that.
Yeah, in Toronto.
So he's an all-star is what you're saying.
He was in Toronto, not in Miami.
And Miami, because he made an all-star game in Miami. So therefore, he was an all-star.
I think it's profoundly absurd that you expect Jordan to perform, in his first 3 seasons, no less, against one of the all-time great basketball teams. And again, let's look at his body of work when he did win the championships now, because all we've been doing is talking about Jordan's early years. And the 6-year dynasty he built with the Bulls is, of course, what makes him legendary. I mean, you can't find a moment of weakness from Michael Jordan in the NBA Finals. It just doesn't exist. Whenever he got to the NBA Finals, he shut the series down in less than 7 games, played at the highest level. I mean, the man averaged 41 points, shooting 50% and 40% from 3, and 2 steals against MVP Charles Barkley and that Phoenix team. I mean, you hear Charles talk about it, and he says, yeah, Michael just outplayed me, and it was flat-out greatness. I mean, every single time Michael Jordan showed up on the highest level and was given the opportunity to play at that highest level, he came through. You're not going to find a missed Jordan game winner in the finals because it doesn't exist, but you're going to find plenty of made ones. You're going to find the and one over Barkley, the game-winning 3 in the flu game, the legendary last shot of his Bulls career. I mean, this is the stuff that greatness is made of. And by the way, I haven't even gotten into how Jordan's a better player than LeBron.
Well, you certainly have spoken to Michael Jordan's clutch ability, but LeBron James is a clutch player as well. And
I agree.
And speaking to the greatness, I see LeBron James going up against probably the greatest team of all time in the Golden State Warriors and defeating them down 3-1. That's pretty clutch. That's pretty great.
That's terrific. And I'll tell you what, if LeBron had more tremendous years and moments like that, he would absolutely climb up my ladder. 2016 to me was the peak greatness of LeBron James. And I as a fan of those 16 Warriors, believe me, nobody appreciates that more than me. But to say that's on the same level of the Bulls dynasty, I think is a bit shallow.
Well, as I said to Will, I think Michael Jordan had tremendous help in Dennis Rodman and Scottie Pippen. Obviously, he didn't have Rodman for all 6 runs, but he was consistently with Scottie Pippen all 6 of those runs. And you spend that much time with another player, you're gonna learn. You're gonna end up knowing that player almost as well as you know yourself.
Absolutely.
LeBron James, he's gone and worked with a number of exceptional teammates and gelled with them almost instantly. So
that's what great players do.
Exactly. And LeBron James is great. He's able to go to other players, other teams, completely new cities and gel with players nearly instantly.
Real quick, no one's debating at LeBron's.
That's not the way basketball worked back then. I mean, back in the day, Michael Jordan was a Chicago Bull, Magic Johnson was a Los Angeles Laker, Larry Bird was a Boston Celtic. We'll never know how Jordan would have meshed on other teams. But what I do know is he was the greatest scorer of all time and the best.
Well, we certainly know he wouldn't have meshed with Isaiah Thomas on the Pistons because he kept him off the Olympic team.
Sure. And you can't tell me there weren't personality issues on those Chicago Bulls teams as well that Jordan overcame. And Jordan still won. And that's part of what makes Phil Jackson such a great coach, is because he was so excellent in managing personalities and getting that Bulls team to mesh. But I'll tell you what, we'll never know a lot about Michael Jordan, With the illegal defense rule, we'll never know exactly how great of a help defender he would have been with today's defensive rules. We'll never know how he would have performed after the abolition of hand checking. There's a lot we'll never precisely know about Michael Jordan, but one thing I think we can know is that he's just playing the best basketball player of all time.
I just have to disagree with that. I will give you that Michael Jordan is the best scorer of all time, but LeBron James is undoubtedly a better passing player. He's a better leader.
No.
And he's definitely the better athlete of the two.
Oh, I have a lot to say about all 3 of those things. So are you one of those in the camp that LeBron is a better defender?
I certainly think that LeBron's an exceptional defender, but I will never go as far as to
Not
say
even
that
close
he's
to
better
Jordan.
than Michael
He's not
Jordan.
even close to Jordan.
No. Okay, so Michael Jordan was an all-defensive first-team selection every year throughout the whole 1990s, and that defensive resume doesn't even include his Defensive Player of the Year award in 1988. A year in which, by the way, he averaged 35 points, which is not normal, especially in the slow-paced era of the late 80s and the 90s. That's another thing. People don't realize, you compare these averages like normal, but the 90s were slower paced than the game today.
Yeah, because he was playing again. There was just a lack of athletes in the NBA at that time.
No.
You look at the athletes now playing in all sports, not even the NBA. They're significantly better than the athletes
Players
of the
today
90s.
are overall more athletic. I agree with that. But there was a different kind of athlete playing basketball back then because the rules were different.
Yeah, a slow old white dude.
Okay, you can't bring up the argument that Jordan played against a bunch of unathletic white dudes.
Certainly more than LeBron did.
I firmly disagree with that. The rules were different. It was a different type of athlete. They don't jump as high or run as fast, so immediately we assume, they're automatically worse athletes. Well, no. Basketball required different skills. You hear Michael Thompson talk about, the arm muscles of today's players don't measure up to the players of the 1980s. It's a different type of athleticism. And Michael Jordan, just basketball's best athlete of all time. I mean, the man had an 8'10" standing reach and a 48-inch vertical. That's almost the top of the backboard right there. He's literally nicknamed as Airness. As far as athleticism goes and his defensive resume goes, I don't think you can put LeBron ahead of Jordan in any way.
Well, if we're talking about nicknames, LeBron James is the king, so I guess it's settled that LeBron James is the best player of all time if nicknames are deciding it.
I want you to go to Michael Jordan's basketball reference page right now and look at his nickname, the GOAT.
Oh, geez.
Boom.
And one other thing I want to bring up, because you're saying, Michael Jordan had more help than LeBron, or that it was easier for him to mesh than LeBron. Great players mesh with anybody. And yes, LeBron was a better passer, but Michael Jordan was a two-guard, a shooting guard. Passing isn't really in his job description entirely.
LeBron James is a forward. That's certainly not in his job description.
No, it is. It is. No, I would say it's more of a responsibility for the small forward to pass than the shooting guard. But, I mean, disregarding all that, I'd really like you to take a look at the 1991 through 93 Chicago Bulls roster, because, yep, they had Jordan and Pippen, but, Horace Grant's made one all-star team, 10 years before, in 1980, and Bill Cartwright made his all-star team, 10 years before he even joined the Bulls. I mean, Jordan was not dealing with a super team like LeBron was in Miami, claiming it was going to win 8 championships. He wasn't.
Ethan has nothing to say.
That Heat team should have absolutely won 4 NBA Finals. And I am going to bring up 2011, actually, because I think that's the greatest notch against LeBron in his career. I mean, the guy was charged with guarding a 33-year-old role player in Jason Terry, who outscored him on better efficiency. And I mean, if you just watch the tape, you're just not watching the greatest player of all time. You're not watching the LeBron you saw in 2016.
I would like to turn on the tape of the 80s playoff runs of Michael. I'd like to turn on the 80s finals, because you're never going to find Michael Jordan once.
No, you're not. And that's because he wasn't in a position to succeed, because he didn't have Scottie Pippen or a surrounding cast. And when he was put into a position to succeed, when he had Scottie around him, and when he eventually had Rodman around him, he came through every time. There's no tragic Michael Jordan moment on the final stage. There's no story about Michael Jordan getting outscored by a 33-year-old role player who he couldn't stop on defense. There's no story about him scoring 8 points in a pivotal playoff game, especially not a finals game. I mean, these stories just don't exist about Michael Jordan, because every time he was given the chance to perform at the highest level, he came through.
So what I'm hearing is
that, to me, is greatness.
So what I'm hearing is the
that's
conditions have to be perfect for Michael Jordan to win a finals.
No,
he
they
has
don't.
to have
No, they don't.
he has to have the good supporting cast. But LeBron James can go to any supporting cast and do it.
No,
we're talking about a guy who's been to the finals. What? Well, 9 times. 9 times. He's 3-6. Well, yeah, 10 times now this year. And
Bill Russell went to the finals 12 times.
Well, that's a whole other argument, and I will warn you, we do have a Celtics fan on the mic, so you shouldn't give that ground up easily. Delusional Boston fan.
Here's the okay. So here's the thing about LeBron. LeBron, people recognized right away in his career when he brought that 2007 Cavaliers team to the finals that they needed to put talent around him, and so they did. With Jordan, Bulls management was trying to tank right away, and Jordan wasn't having that. He wanted to make the playoffs in 1985 after coming off his broken foot. You heard it in The Last Dance. He said, I think that just speaks to our unwillingness to win, because there wasn't a winning culture around Michael Jordan, especially not in those early years when he was up against that legendary Bucks team and those super legendary Celtics teams.
As a Bucks fan, I would not consider those teams legendary.
Those teams were great. I encourage you to go back, watch the tape of the Chicago Bulls versus the Milwaukee Bucks in the first round, a series in which, by the way, Jordan put up insane numbers for a rookie. Just, I mean, Michael Jordan, and if you want to go break down, defense, rebounding, I mean, just about everything except passing. And Michael was a 2-guard, and his role on the Chicago Bulls was to score the basketball. Jordan is better at it and is better at appearing at the highest level at the greatest moments. And that, to me, is why he's the best and the greatest of all time. That's all I have to say about that.
All right. Well, you must have been saying a lot of things that Will didn't feel the need to add on, because I don't think I haven't heard him speak in about 9 minutes, which is probably the most surprising thing.
There were some things I would have added on to.
That might be the most compelling part of your argument, is that you were able to keep Will quiet. But George,
thanks for having me on, guys. I'm a fan of the podcast. I really am.
Well, we'll be sure to hook you up with a coupon code for a free shirt and sticker, so be on the lookout for that. I'll get you that after the show.
Absolutely. Just don't be saying Charles Barkley is terrible or that John Stockton couldn't shoot ever again, okay?
Well, I never said any of that.
Yeah, no.
I didn't say that they couldn't shoot. I just said that the other old white dudes, Charles Barkley, not a white dude, the other old white dudes in the NBA at the time were not as good as the athletes of today.
I specifically remember you saying John Stockton couldn't shoot.
Did I say that? I said that like 8 episodes ago.
I want you to pull the tape on that. Like if he ever says that again, we'll slap him.
Well, I'll slap him anyway.
Terrific. Okay.
Well,
thanks for having me on, guys. Much appreciated.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. And we are back from break. If you guys, for whatever reason, skipped the last segment, I just kind of got pushed on my heels. Not a very good debate for me. Bad look. I'll accept defeat. I'm not going to accept that I'm wrong, and we're not going to get into it. But right. I will give it to our guest George Pasche.
Yep,
he definitely beat me.
George had a great argument.
I can accept when I'm defeated, unlike Will. Right. Moving on, shifting over back to the NFL game predictions. We'll get a record for you guys next week.
Yep.
Big
After
bet.
last week, I don't think my record's very great.
Yeah,
I got roasted a little bit.
there's a few out there that
It was a rough week.
didn't go my way.
You can't win them all.
That's right.
Debates-
That's the
debates,
golden
NFL
Unless
rule.
you're
predictions.
Michael Jordan. Unless you're Michael Jordan, you do win them all. But that's neither here nor there.
Mute Will, would you?
NFL game predictions. As always, just gonna do it real quick.
Real quick.
Buccaneers Bears. I'm taking the Bucks.
Bucks.
Panthers Falcons. I'm taking the Panthers.
Oh, Falcons. Let's go.
I'm going Falcons.
Yikes. Bills Titans. I'm going. Well, that
Well,
game's
it's not-
game's gonna be played on Tuesday
That's
now.
right. That's right.
Either way,
Just freshly released. I'm taking the Bills.
Bills.
I'm going Bills as well.
Raiders Chiefs. I'm going to take the Chiefs.
Raiders.
I am also taking the Raiders on this one.
Yeah, they've always struggled against the
Yeah.
Raiders.
And the
but
Chiefs are just struggling right now.
Oh, also just came down my feed here. The Broncos Patriots game will be played on Monday night instead of Sunday.
Ooh.
So that's 2
2 weeks in a row with two Monday night.
Yeah, for the
Yeah.
Patriots, getting a little too much prime time here. Cardinals Jets taking the Cardinals for sure.
Cardinals as well.
Yeah, I'm going Cardinals.
Eagles Steelers. I'm taking the Eagles.
Steelers.
I'm also going Steelers.
Fun fact about the Eagles and the Steelers in World War II or World War I, can't remember which.
Well,
Probably
which
World
year
War
was
II. Probably World War II.
All right.
They didn't have. Neither team had enough for a full roster, so they combined and they became the Pennsylvania Steagles.
Definitely World War II because I don't think in 1914 they had a
Probably not.
NFL team.
Probably not. Next up, Rams versus the football team. Football team making a switch at quarterback, benching Dwayne Haskins, moving on to Kyle Allen. Definitely taking the Rams.
Rams.
I'm also going Rams.
Bengals Ravens. Upset alert, baby. It's the Bengals and Joe Burrow.
I don't like that. Gotta go Ravens.
I am also seeing the upset here. I am also going Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Let's go. Let's go, Burrow. It's Burrow time.
Jags Texans. Romeo Crennel making his interim coaching debut against Minshew Mania. I'm going to take the Texans, and that's because I don't like Minshew.
All right. Gotta go with mustache Minshew. All right.
That didn't
Jags.
play out very well for you last time.
Hey, it's all right.
I'm going Texans because Watson's just better than Minshew, and that's what it's going to come down to.
Dolphins Niners. Definitely taking the Niners.
49ers.
I am taking the Miami Dolphins. I saw the way they played against Seattle last week. They were tough. The Niners down on injury,
All right.
upset,
Likes
alert.
Fitz
And then
magic.
Fitzmagic
I like
is
it.
magical.
Colts Browns. I'm just going Colts because I love Jonathan Taylor. I will die on this hill.
Colts.
You're dying on a lot of hills in this episode. But I'm going to go with the Browns.
Giants Cowboys. Yo, Cowboys, they're finally gonna win a game. It's gonna be the Cowboys.
The boys.
Yep, got to go Cowboys.
You can't go G-men there. They're awful.
They're pretty bad.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Broncos Patriots. You already saw how the Patriots looked down Cam Newton, but now they're down Stephon Gilmore. So I'm going to have to go with the Broncos.
Yikes.
Yeah. Pats.
Going Pats.
Sunday night football, Vikings versus the Seahawks. I'm going to go with the Seahawks.
You know, this is really. I'm just kidding. Seahawks.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're all going Seahawks here.
Monday night football facing up. Originally, it was going to be the Chargers and the Saints. We saw the Patriots glory hounds wanted to butt in again. So Chargers Saints, the original Monday night football game. I'm going with the team I've been pounding the table on since before the season started. It's going to be the Los Angeles Chargers with Justin Herbert. He's going to get his first win. He looked really good first half last week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Sure did.
You got to think he's finally going to put it together. Saints not looking like a real good team this year.
All
It's
right.
going to be the Chargers.
Well, I like the Saints in this matchup.
You know what? I'm going to go with Chargers. I like the way Herbert performed against the Bucs last week. If he wouldn't go against the GOAT, I think he wins that game.
Let's put a bob on this one. Monday Night Football.
We're both going Chargers for Saints.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right, done.
All right.
How did we do on Bob bets last week? Does anyone know?
I wrote them down.
I got 6.
I forgot what we
I got
did.
6 from
Well,
Ryan.
I always forget.
Will owes me a Bob from the West Virginia.
Oh, crap.
Or West Virginia, who'd they play?
Okie State.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did have that.
Yeah,
upset.
you had
yeah.
West Virginia. That's right.
Yeah, I got one Bob.
Will has a strange hatred of the Pokes down in Oklahoma State. I think it's because they are significantly better than his Kansas State Wildcats.
I mean, Wildcats can beat Oklahoma, so I mean, I'll let.
Oklahoma
That's all I gotta say.
This isn't the college football show. If
all I gotta
if
say.
you guys want to hear about college football, you are going to want to tune in to Save Saturdays U,
gosh.
starring me, Ethan Petrick, every Friday at 2 p.m. But sticking with the NFL, it's the worst part of every episode. Just to, turn down your headphones for about 30 seconds. We'll get back to the good stuff, but it's that time.
Are you ready? Let's go!
As you guys know, last week Tom Brady became the oldest quarterback in NFL history to throw for 5 or more touchdown passes because he is the GOAT, and he continues to prove it in his old age. Boom.
Wow.
Never uses the full 12. I'm beginning to think we should rename it to the TB non-existent because we should cut the segment.
No. It's everyone's favorite.
As always, we like to bring you guys back up from the depths of despair from that horrible part of the show to the best part of the show.
You got that right.
Bentz's Bets of the Week.
Let's hear it. Nice guitar.
You already know him. He's been on the show since about the 4th episode, maybe the 5th. Not really sure.
4.
Since episode 4. Didn't do so hot last week. I totally clowned him. I picked Chase Elliott.
You had to bring that up.
He was all over Team Penske. I was all over Chase Elliott. Team Penske didn't even put one person ahead of my boy.
No.
So
Yeah,
take this for what it's worth, which is
It's Talladega though. Talladega. Anything can happen.
I mean, you told us about the big one.
I did, and it happened multiple times.
And then I bet on the big one, and you were
And I
like,
got my drivers.
"Yep."
Got my drivers. That's all right. It happens.
What do you got coming down the pipe for us this week?
Oh yeah. So I got some NFL for you, some PGA golf, NASCAR, my favorite. So we're gonna start with some NFL for you. All right. First game I got Carolina Panthers at Atlanta Falcons. Falcons picked by 1, and I gotta say I like the Falcons in this game.
Well, you can't win by much more than a point, so
Sure. So Atlanta outright. And next, Raiders, Chiefs. You already know my pick. I like the Raiders. Although I did pick the Raiders, but I mean, pick the Raiders in a bet. Like the spread is 12.5.
that's
So-
an easy Raiders to cover.
That's what I'm saying.
I would take that
That's
as
what
well.
I'm saying. So pick up the Raiders on that one. All right, confident bet there. Next one, Giants at Cowboys. Cowboys, yeah, picked by 9.5. I think that's an easy enough spread. So go with the boys on that one. Monday Night Football, Chargers at Saints. Saints by 8. And I like the Saints to cover. I do.
No wonder you wanted to put a bob on the game. You're very confident in the Saints.
I like it. Yeah, they'll put up a 2-score lead in the 4th. So wait for that.
Despicable.
All right. Now, PGA. Let's talk about some golf. So there's a tournament this weekend, Shriners Hospitals for Children Open. And right now, Thursday is round 1. A lot of golfers just finished up. A few are still continuing. DeChambeau, my favorite, leading right now with -9 for the day.
So the new driver is working out for him.
He hasn't used a new driver yet.
He hasn't used it?
No.
If you guys,
Masters.
Oh, he's bringing it in for the Masters?
Next month, that's right.
Well, if you guys don't know what we're talking about, you should listen to Drive the Greens
Drive the
with
Greens.
Ryan Bentz
That's
every
right.
Wednesday at 2 p.m.
Check that out. All right. So DeChambeau's up on the leaderboard, -9. He's favorite to win 7-1. Crazy odds. But I like it. I like that bet. I mean, he's taken a very commanding lead. Another favorite of mine, Sergio Garcia, just won last weekend. Off to a slow start this weekend. I think he's at probably hole 16 right now, still going through round 1 at a -3. But look for him to improve throughout the weekend. along with Jason Day, right beside Garcia at -3. And both of those guys are at 33-1 odds. So I'll look for them to run up the leaderboard as well. My sleepers now that I got here. Abraham Answer. His odds 50-1. Right now shooting a -5. So looking pretty solid.
Where's my boy Joaquin Newman?
Neiman. Come on, get it right. I know. Joaquin Neiman.
Here I am throwing Ryan under the bus again.
No, I just got to look at this one.
A Save Saturdays tradition. Me picking up Ryan, finding the nearest school bus, and throwing him underneath it.
Last time I checked, Neiman was doing all right, but now he's dropped to 57th. Shooting a -3 for today.
-3, and he's
4 birdies and a bogey. So exceptional.
cleaning that up, walking.
Yeah, he's got to clean it up. But yeah, I don't look for Joaquin to improve any more than that. I mean, he could finish the weekend at -5 at his best, but we'll see. All right, sleepers, Abraham Answer, -5. Grillo, all right. Israeli, I believe. Shooting -7 right now. So he's in the top 5. Very good player. Odds 80-1. So that's something I would pick up.
Those odds would not imply a very good player, but he's shooting well.
Sure, yeah, he's shooting very well. Also, my last sleeper, Varner III, -8 right now. So he's in second place, and his odds are 80-1 as well.
Who do you have money on right now?
Well, DeChambeau. I mean, he's had a solid round. Obviously working on some swings, working on some new things.
Didn't scare you off of him, though.
Right. No, not at all. Solid player. So look for those guys to make it to the top throughout the weekend, and don't be afraid to throw some money on them. Now, shifting gears to NASCAR, and this weekend we are at Charlotte, North Carolina, at Charlotte Roval Road Course. And right now, all I got to say is Chase Elliott.
That's
it. That's it.
Chase should have been saying that last week.
Chase Elliott is the guy to beat this weekend. With his 3 straight wins on road courses. Imagine that. 3 straight wins, along with winning 4 of the last 6 road course races. So he is the man to beat. And his opening odds, 3-1, plus 300. I mean, that tells you right there that he's the obvious favorite, and definitely a confident pick. So go Chase Elliott. That number 9 Chevy. All right. Other picks I got: Truex Jr. 11-2. Denny Hamlin locked in the round of 8 with that win at Dega last weekend. Controversial win. I'm not going to get into that, but Hamlin 15-2. Harvick 8-1. And Ryan Blaney, 12-1. And then also Bowman, who's had 2 top 5s at Charlotte Roval, was also a good pick at 18-1 odds. Now, my sleeper pick for the weekend. And also breaking news, I should say, Clint Boyer in that number 14 car, Stuart Haas Racing driver. He is retiring from full Cup series driving, full-time driving. And will move to the Fox booth. He will be a commentator in the year 2021. So best of luck to Clint Boyer, and he's been a very exceptional race car driver throughout his years. And also my sleeper pick, Clint Boyer, for this weekend at Charlotte Roval. Average 3.5 position. He's finished 3rd to 2018 and 2nd last year, 2019. So he's going to have a very solid run, and his odds are at 14-1.
Now, I'm seeing a little note here. It says stay away. And the first number is not a guy you're normally staying away from. What's going on there?
Yeah, you want to say who that number is?
That's 22. That's Joey.
Yep,
That's Joey Logano. That's your guy.
Yeah, that's my guy right there. I'm just not comfortable with Joey in this race. He has an average finish of 10.5, I believe, in just 2 races there. He has an average start of 8, so obviously in those races he's finished below his starting position, and that's not very good news. But this is a very important race. Obviously, the eliminating race in the round of 12. So, I mean, it's playoff season, so you're gonna see a lot of drivers really race aggressive. And I know I've said this last week, but you're gonna see a lot of aggressive drivers at this road course this weekend.
If Joey is Joey in potential of being eliminated in this race?
Yes, he is right now the last. I mean, he's right above the cutoff line. So he is the last driver to make it to the round of 8. And he's 21 points above the cut line.
Okay.
So it's comfortable. There's some comfortable points there. But he just, his goal is not to win this weekend, right? Because really, when you're in his position, you want to focus on stage wins, not necessarily the wins, but positions within stages. So like the first stage, top 10. Second stage, top 10. I mean, you just got to be running in the top 10 the whole race, and I believe he can do that. So we'll see Joey Logano advance to the round of 8. I'm not worried. Nobody should be worried. Also, stay away from that number 3 car, Austin Dillon. I believe the second to last worst average finish at Charlotte Roval with, I believe, 30th. So not his best track. He's also out of the playoff bubble right now, below the cutoff line, quite a lot. So unfortunately, look for Austin Dillon to be knocked out of the round of 12. Also another guy here, Eric Almirola in the number 10 car.
Yeah, get him out of there.
He's also had rough finishes at Charlotte Roval. Yeah. Average finish 16.5. So stay away from Eric. He is a contender in the playoffs, but I just don't see it happening for him this year, unfortunately. So with that, Chase Elliott, clear favorite for this race, and not too far behind Martin Truex Jr. And I like Alex Bowman too. So look for the 9, the 19, and the 88. All right.
Not 88 for much longer, though.
No, that's right. Also, if you listen to my earlier podcast, Drive the Greens, I've discussed a new situation with the Team Hendricks Motorsports. Jimmy Johnson, you all know, has retired or is retiring at the end of the season in that 48 car, iconic 48 car. And he will join IndyCar next season, so best of luck to Jimmy Johnson. And Alex Bowman will take the reins for the new with the 48 car. So that's twice now where Alex Bowman will take over for a very iconic drivers. We had Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 88 car, most popular driver for 19 straight seasons. I mean, you can't beat that. Everybody loves the guy. And now he's going to take over for that 48 team. 7-time champion, Jimmy Johnson. So best of luck to Alex Bowman. I'm a huge Bowman fan. Dale Jr. is my favorite driver forever since I was little. So always excited to see that 88 drive around the track. So it'll be interesting to see who will pick up the 88 number also. So, all right.
That's all you got for us?
Yeah.
I think I recognized like 3 names there, maybe.
Dale Jr., Jimmy
yeah.
Johnson.
Yeah, Joey Logano.
Of course.
That was it.
Well, this has been That's His Bents of the Week.
That's right.
Smooth. I like that. That's good.
Yeah. It just says NASCAR to me.
Yep. Perfect.
Well,
I
as
made fun
always,
of that first, but good choice.
yeah. As always, Bets is Bents of the Week ends our show. You can catch me next on the Offsides with Ethan Petrick. That'll be on Monday at 2 p.m. And then Takeout Tuesday at 2. Will be joining me on Takeout Tuesday. And then where can we see you after Takeout Tuesday, Will?
Boston Bias Show. That's now on Thursdays.
It's always been on Thursdays, but...
Started on Wednesdays, but now I was late, so now we're pushing to Thursday.
And Ryan, where are we going to be hearing you next?
That's right. You're going to hear me next Wednesday afternoon, 2 o'clock Central Standard Time with Drive the Greens with Ryan Bentz.
That's right. And
Exclusively, sorry to interrupt, exclusively with NASCAR, golf, and a little bit of soccer in there. So get ready for that.
Football.
Football. That's correct.
be sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Save Saturdays. Keep you up to date on all the podcast news as well as some rather fire memes, if you will.
Fire.
Definitely.
Dank.
I don't know why you're laughing, Ryan. You're probably laughing because they're so funny, but you like my memes every time I post
I
them.
do.
So
Yep.
be sure to check.
There's nothing not to like about them.
Be sure to check those out. And as always, remember to
Save Saturdays.
These my dollars make it hurt.